A night in with Mauler and the drinker, getting trashed with the web screen pictures. A cheap night cause I'm feeling kinda thrifty, got a 10-pack of beers and a bottle of whiskey. Hop off the cork, have a glass of wine, I feel safe, I'll be fine. Trouble walking in a straight line, but pour me a Pinot Noir. It's open bar with our hosts, Mauler and the critical drinker.
All right, you lovely people. Hello.
Hello.
We're back for another open bar. Welcome this evening. Hope everyone's having a lovely night or morning, whatever time of day it might be for you. And whatever time it is, I hope you've got some kind of drink in your hand because I intend to throughout the night.
Yeah, water is also cool. We're not going to take that away from anybody.
It's still a drink. I suppose it's some kind of liquid. And
we'll allow it.
Yeah, no. I don't know if we should have popped the champagne tonight for their Acolyte, but we'll talk about that soon enough. Anyway, before we begin, as has become the custom here, shall we talk about the year that was, in this case, 2008. So it was mostly film-related stuff that I was able to dig up. In terms of world events, it was really dominated by the complete financial collapse of the Western world. So it wasn't a great year in that respect, you know. The collapse of Lehman Brothers going bankrupt triggered a financial crisis that kind of lasted for the better part of a decade, which, you know, wasn't great fun. But hey-ho. In the world of movies, however, the top movie of the year was The Dark Knight with $1 billion, just over $1 billion that made worldwide.
That's all right.
Yeah. It's funny, I still think of the Dark Knight trilogy as being fairly recent, and then you realize, oh, right, yeah, it was more than 15 years ago that came out. And number 2 spot was Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Yay.
I mean, you know, people try to do the thing of like, you know, that film isn't so bad when you consider Dial of Death. It's like that. We don't need to do that.
Yeah, not in that case. But it did make 786 million worldwide, which is, you know, pretty respectable.
I mean, most people would just say that's a result of the trilogy, right? The original.
Yeah, for sure. Kung Fu Panda was 3rd. Hancock was 4th, actually, the 4th highest grossing movie of the year. And Mamma Mia was 5th. So a bit of a mixed bag there, actually, in terms of genres and movies. But it was also the year that gave us Iron Man.
Yeah.
You might be familiar with that one. It was an okay movie.
Also, like it's the beginning of the MCU.
I know. We were so young back then, and it just seemed so cool.
We didn't know.
Cool idea.
We didn't know.
Yeah, Jon Favreau, you had no idea what you were unleashing. It also gave us Gran Torino. Excellent movie. Quantum of Solace, not so much. It's the one that no one talks about, really, isn't it, in terms of the pantheon of Daniel Craig, James Bond movies.
It's just everyone agrees it's bad, isn't that? It's like Reputation.
I mean, no one can even remember anything about it, really. Like, I you know, it's just such a nondescript Bond film. It's just so boring.
Following Casino Royale is always going to be tough, but
yeah. But you know what isn't boring? Tropic Thunder. That also came out that year.
Oof, that would be in the running for the favorite of that year. It's going to be.
Yeah, for sure. The Mummy 3, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, actually came out in 2008 as well.
That was disappointing.
Yeah, it was. That was an everything and the kitchen sink kind of movie. We're out of ideas.
It's genuinely a treasured memory of the films I was seeing that year. The trailers for Tropic Thunder would turn up in most of them. And you know, the trailer ended with Ben Stiller throwing the baby off the bridge. I was so sold when I saw that. I was like, I'm seeing this movie 100%.
You're just a baby killer, aren't you, Mahler? It's just appealed to you.
I need to see
this. We also got In Bruges, good film.
Yes.
Rambo, the last good Rambo movie. I thought it was a good way to cap off the quadrology. Shame they made another one, but never mind. And also this is the year that gave us Twilight. So I'm sorry on behalf of 2008, but
that went for a while, didn't it?
Oh, they just never stopped with those movies. Like, they were just churning them out like crazy. It's the only time that Kristen Stewart was relevant. Now she's just I don't know, like she looks like an angry hillbilly these days. It's weird. But for a while she was riding high. But anyway, that was the year that was 2008. But now it's current year, and there's things going on, and we should bring our guests in so that we can talk about it.
Yes, we should.
All right. Well, welcome to the bar, everyone. Welcome, Gary, Mr. H Reviews, and Star Wars Theory. These fine gentlemen have joined us tonight.
What up?
Hello. How's it going, guys?
Nice to be here again.
It's
And
good to have
now
you
we
guys.
live in a time where Star Wars is Twilight.
No.
It really is, actually.
Yes.
I think we should just jump right into it, actually. We were all rocked by the news that The Acolyte has been cancelled. Season 2 is not going
Tragic.
to happen. I
Shocked,
know.
I tell you. Shocked.
Truly, humanity has lost something. Mostly in the form of YouTube ad revenue. But yeah, it's still lost something from the show not being aired. We'll never find out what they were going to do with Darth Plagueis.
No.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
He's going to be
Gonna be
filed along with the Crimson Dawn with Darth Maul. We'll never know. It's just so
Yeah.
unfair.
I
First
feel
thing we
good
knew.
I feel good for Manny Jacinto, though. He was way too good for that show, and I hope he goes on to something far better than
He
this
got an
trash.
excellent birthday present by them canceling the show on his
You're
birthday.
fired.
That's wild. That's wild.
Imagine the agent said
hope
the
not.
show's been cancelled, by the way, which it's okay. Like,
The agent.
don't worry
Hey,
about it.
happy birthday.
I feel
by
bad
the way.
for Lee Jung Jae. I mean, that guy literally learned English for this role.
Yeah.
It's just that was a mistake. He can move on. Squid Game season 2. Let's get going on that.
Yeah.
It's fine. We all get
I
drunk
think-
and make bad decisions sometimes.
Yeah, what do you mean sometimes? I mean, I think he's probably going to get more opportunities here in the West as well. Like, he can speak English
Oh,
now,
yeah.
presumably he'll improve with
True.
that. He seems to be able to fight pretty well. He's a pretty commanding actor. and
He can act.
he's-
Yeah, that's the important part.
Yeah, which is more than Amanda Stenberg can manage. So, yeah,
Oh,
that's definitely an advantage.
But didn't you know she doesn't care about your discourse? All right.
Yeah.
So
She apparently doesn't, no.
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 Maybe
She
she
doesn't care about dance choreography either, from what I've seen in that video. I honestly want to get her and that Australian breakdancing lass to just go at it. But,
Fun
oh man,
times.
I mean, I don't think any of us really expected that the Acolyte was going to come back. Like, it didn't seem very likely, just given the
No.
reception to it. But it's not often that Lucasfilm actually cancels something. They just stop
Yeah.
talking about it usually. And then they just hope
They
that people don't
cancel-
ask them questions about it.
Well, they've only ever cancelled one other thing, and it'll be interesting to see whether this goes the same way. So they cancelled Willow season 2, didn't they? Right?
Yes.
That god awful, because that was Lucasfilm specifically, a Disney Plus show of Willow, and then they actually removed it entirely from their library, so completely gone.
Yeah.
As a tax break, basically, sort of just remove it so they can sort of quantify that off as tax. And I do wonder if the Acolyte will go the same way, because they've tried to memory hole it. So it's cancelled. Sure, fine. We're all expecting that. RIP my future car that I was going to buy. But what they've now gone and done is remove all the merchandise.
Yes, from
You
the
can
Disney
still earn
Plus
money
store.
from it. But they're like, no. Oh, no. This didn't exist.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
wonder if
crazy.
that will go the same way, be completely removed,
Can
and
only
that's it,
hope.
just done.
Well, and you even
I
look
mean,
at the
it's-
characters, and they removed the characters too from any of the merch that you could filter by.
That's like the closest
Right.
we can get to decanonizing, because they'll never actually decanonize.
Yeah, they haven't done it like on the Hasbro sites or anything yet. They did it on Disney, on the Disney site, which did have a few things. So it's still around, but believe me, there's a place called Ollie's here in the States, where all the shit goes, and it'll be filled with that stuff, and it will be eventually memory hold. But like retconning, like if they come out and just erase it and retcon the canon so they can, I don't know, screw up Plagueis again, that would be odd. That would be odd. I don't see them doing that, but it certainly was embarrassing enough. And I think there was talk of Lesbian Headlamp getting a writing team together for season 2. And this is the speculation out there is just Disney leaked this to just to stop. It's like, no, we're not doing this. let's leak it to sources. And in one of those leaks, and Ryan talked about it, but in the Hollywood Reporter, they talk about Amanda Stenberg's, the source talks about Amanda Stenberg's diss track, like it being not a very good idea.
Yeah.
No,
So-
crazy.
I know, insane, right?
I like the idea, by the way, of the boardroom that they're setting up season 2. They're like, we're not doing that. No. She says, I'll get writers this time. They're like, no.
We're moving the merch too.
Yeah, we're just gonna get it off. Disney,
Nobody's buying the fucking.
and we'll quietly erase this over the course of the next 6 months and just try.
I wonder, is there a Basil toy that you could buy? Like, I really want to buy one and just put it in a fucking hydraulic press.
What a terrible show! What an absolutely terrible show.
Yeah,
I think like that. What's heavily comical about this is like the response. Oh my goodness me, the response. Obviously, and I'm sure you're probably going to get to it, but you're racist, you're incels, you're sexist, it's diverse. Right? You just hate people, and it's like honestly. Yeah. If it wasn't for the people hate watching it, the viewership would have been significantly lower. So actually, you've got to thank us. To be fair,
we tried to save it. Damn it!
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, because
we still tried to save it. I put hashtag renew the Acolyte at the end of my last video. I wanted season 2.
I mean, I essentially like boosted this to 2 million people. You're welcome, Disney, and this is the thanks I get.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm doing my best. At all. But this it's the funny thing, actually, because the Mary Sue did an article about this, and you can always trust the Mary Sue. I'm sure you guys have actually covered this on FNT or whatever, but they're already complaining about it and blaming it on the toxic fans, where they say the Acolyte was a new and exciting show in the Star Wars franchise. That is, half correct. Yeah, fans were given a look at a time period in the High Republic era that's never been seen in live action. We had new characters to love. No, we didn't. A cliffhanger with Yoda. No one cared. And it was just exciting. You're lying. But any kind of change in Star Wars brings with it a rush of angry dude bros with their pitchforks. I mean, I like the idea of being a dude bro, actually. Just like, they never gave the series a chance. Through review bombings and hating on social media, these men made it. And it's obviously men. Like, it couldn't be women that didn't like
By the way, it's not a pitchfork. It's a trident, okay?
Yeah, there's a difference.
Big difference.
They made it possible for anyone to talk about the series. Still, fans of The Acolyte remained positive and fought through the noise that these guys were making.
Fan. You misspelled fan. Sorry.
No, there was definitely more than one. There was at least, I don't know, a dozen, maybe
7?
like 15, I'd say.
Okay.
And I love this.
Rachel Leishman does count as 2 because she's wider and she is tall.
This is true. I love this bit, though. Calls to renew the series poured in on social media right before the finale. I'm sure they were real people and not bots. And for a glorious moment, it felt like the fans who actually find joy in Star Wars could win for once. I mean, we used to find joy in Star Wars, but that was about 40 years ago. Instead, it's been announced that the show will not return for season 2. Whatever hope we had for more stories from the Acolyte were dashed, and it feels like those in charge gave in to the toxicity of this fan base. I mean, that's damning stuff. I don't know how you guys feel.
Well,
I mean, they've given us the power.
Thanks, Mary Sue.
The power of one, the power of two, the power of many. I mean, we've got the power. We can just cancel shows, apparently. So thanks.
Yeah,
thanks for that.
Thanks look out, Disney.
This is This is what it comes down to, really, isn't it? Because like all the people who are crying and complaining and blaming people like us on social media, you guys had your chance to support this show. You guys had your chance to pump up those viewership numbers and make it a huge success. And guess what? You didn't do it because there's not enough of you. You know, ultimately, you are not as big of a group as you think you are. And maybe the bulk of people just want a good Star Wars show and they didn't get it.
Yeah. There's, on the one hand, you could absolutely say that we had zero effect in the sense that Disney aren't looking at videos for the 5 of us, for example, and going like, did they like it? Oh, they didn't. Let's cancel the show. They didn't like it. But on the other hand, surely any influence we would have had, even in the most minuscule way of literally one person per video deciding, I was thinking of watching it, but I guess I won't because they trust our taste or whatever. It's a really interesting conversation to figure out exactly what the cause is of the lower viewership. But the one thing you can't deny is the people who loved it weren't fucking supporting it properly. That's how it went.
What brought the negative attention to the show was actual clips from the show.
Exactly.
You could just present them without comment and they were getting roasted to hell because it was a bad show. Now, we knew it would be a bad show because of the approach Disney took. They prioritize diversity, and like this thing took 4 years to get to the screen anyway. And the minute we heard it involved former personal assistant to Harvey Weinstein, Leslie Headland, for begging Kathleen, and this came from begging Kathleen Kennedy on a red carpet for something else. That's where it came from. And she loved all the Star Wars. So they gave her a Star Wars because she co-wrote a niche popular show on Netflix, Russian Doll. So obviously she's got the chops to make a Star Wars show.
The consequences of this will be she'll get another show at some point for something else. Just keep going.
Sure.
That's how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, look at Ryan Johnson. Knives Out or Glass Onion, whatever. It is.
From what I gather, those actually make money. At least,
Yeah.
TLJ made money. It's just it also sabotaged the ability for Star Wars to make money as much in future.
Would you say it made money because it was good, or would you say it made money because it was Star Wars?
I famously am not a fan of TLJ.
No, I know, but that's
I don't
just
think anyone here is.
argument. People always make this argument. They're like, "Oh, it made money, so clearly it was good." It's like, well, no.
Star Wars had a lot of goodwill. It's the greatest cinematic IP of all time. It's the fact that it's still alive is a testament to what George created. Like any other franchise would be dead.
Yeah. There's always a momentum effect as well, where like if you got a series, if the previous movie in that series was a huge hit, there's likely to be more momentum going into the next movie. And so even if it's bad, it will have a massive opening weekend, and so the box office will be relatively good.
And
it works in inverse as well.
You can trace the previous product, so to speak. Like I see the crippled success of Rise of Skywalker as is the actual result of like what TLJ did. TLJ's success, you could argue, is a result of TFA getting people ready for like reveals and setups and the future of Star Wars. And then TFA's success, you can absolutely attribute to the health of Star Wars as an IP. As much as you could say it would have done better or worse depending on how good the film is, I agree. But like nobody in the world at this point is looking to passionately defend TFA now.
No.
Yeah. I think as well, like they did a pretty good job marketing it. Because like the big criticism of the prequels, especially the first one, was like they were quite stodgy. They were very slow paced in a lot of ways, like the very wooden acting. And this just did the exact opposite. It was all very kinetic. There was a lot of member berries. There was a lot of key jangling. There was a lot of
no
callbacks.
politics, everyone.
Yeah, just a different kind. But anyway, I thought, it was the antithesis of the prequels that everyone was kind of bored with, and so that was a massive bonus, I think, for fans who were just a bit jaded with that. And enough time had passed that they hadn't gotten to the sort of retrospective, we're reevaluating the prequels now. It was still very much the they suck kind of phase, and so this just came along at a good time. But yeah, it didn't last. But as with the Acolyte, that's not quantifiable in terms of box office success because there is no box office for it. But they'll know by their own metrics how many people watched it, and they'll know it wasn't worth 180 million.
We've had a better indicator of the success of the Acolyte than almost any other show in the history of Disney, outside obviously of mentioned Willow. But what's fascinating, we kind of mentioned this before we went live, but it seems the people who like the anger at its being cancelled seems to be coming from a bigger fan base than the people who fucking took the time to watch it.
Yeah,
it's
weird.
Well, activists, isn't it? Really, it's all about
that's
that.
got to be it. Yeah.
Yeah. So like they don't care about the show; they care what it represents.
Yeah.
To them,
it's like this was a loss for us, so now we're mad about the show we don't care about. Dude, have you seen the post where it's like, from all accounts, I've heard the show is excellent? It's like, what account? What are you talking about? Like, it's like, and you haven't watched it. Like, you just thanks for letting us know. You have no fucking skin in the game. You're just doing it because you want to have a win for like some vague.
It's so simple. If something's good, people will watch. They'll consume it.
Yeah,
it's that simple. It's not like there's no freaking science behind it.
Well, did you see the post comparing it to Breaking Bad? They were like, Breaking Bad's first season wasn't like the full story.
Why do all the sci-fi and fantasy shows want to be Breaking Bad now?
But it's not even like Breaking Bad's first
nothing
episode
like Breaking Bad. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It's like you guys
wait, Mahler, they're media literate. Okay, it's media literacy.
Also, didn't Ryan point out one episode of The Acolyte costs more than the first season of Breaking Bad?
I think he did. Yeah, well, multiple people have pointed that out, actually. Yeah, it's insane.
It's pathetic. The defense, it's like, stop it. It was a bad show.
Well,
and it's
and
okay
now
to
they-
admit
because the thing is as well, it's not like it just didn't get any exposure, and so people didn't know about it, so they never got a chance to experience it. It had reasonably good numbers for its premiere, as I understand, and then it just dropped off a cliff after that. That tells you that quite a few people tuned in for it. They gave it a chance. Yeah. Recognized how shit it was, and then just didn't bother watching the rest.
I thought even those numbers were a bit fudged. Like
they were fudged because it's however many watch time in minutes and hours, blah blah blah, and so they did a 2-episode premiere to make it like just about an hour or just over an hour. Yeah. So the longer the premiere is, it skews their ways to show, like how many people have actually watched it. Without going to look at the actual numbers. But yeah, that's how they did it. But I think what's so funny about this overall is that the individuals, so even those people that have now accepted it's been, it's gone, they're still throwing their vitriol elsewhere, but they're like, oh, hey, actually, it's not cancelled. It wasn't cancelled. All right, it's just not renewed. And you're like, right. So they spent $180 million on a show which ended on a cliffhanger with multiple plots. Multiple plot threads completely unanswered, and you don't think that they were planning multiple seasons? They were absolutely planning multiple seasons.
Yeah,
they
thought
cliffhangers, they were onto a winner with this.
That final episode is filled with shit like you want to see Yoda, you want to see Vanestra Rowe's relationship with Quimia, you want to see the Gooner in the cave, you want to see what's going to happen with May and Ocean. It's like, no, we don't, but I know that you do. I know that you want to tell these stories.
They genuinely thought that was going to be like an ongoing story that people were going to be gripped by. And it's funny as well because I couldn't help but react to a couple of the comments that were floating around on Twitter where it was something to the effect of, and the person's deleted their account now, so I can't call it out after I retweeted, but it was basically, congratulations, chuds, you won this one. You've
bigots.
You got bigots. That was it. We've lost the Acolyte now because of you. And I just couldn't help but say, hey, how does it feel to see something that you really like and care about get fucking destroyed?
Yeah.
That really pisses you off, doesn't it? Well, that's what it is to be a Star Wars fan these days. So welcome aboard.
Do that for another 10, 12 years and you'll get what you feel like.
I got no sympathy for these people because they have been instrumental in fucking ruining this franchise with all the crap that they want to push. So yeah, if you want to take an L on this one, I'll be there cheering from the sidelines. So well done.
Did you see the tweet that was like, and these idiots, like they've been begging for Darth Plagueis to be in live action this whole time. They finally get their chance, and then they sign a blood oath to undo the potential of this show. You just say, they're like, what is it with you people? Like, just the appearance of a character means it's automatically good, as opposed to the execution, obviously.
It would be like, I'd love to see James Kirk come back in Star Trek, but then it's like they bring him back like 90-year-old William Shatner in a nappy, just like singing nursery rhymes or something. It's like, well, you did bring him back, but it's not in the format that I would have liked. So no, I'm not going to support this.
That's how these people operate. They don't care about a story or any characters. They just get some diversity, and they're like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. It's like, well, okay, cool, but like, how about we attach it to a great story and maybe some cool characters? Yeah, but that's not the case. It's just a checklist for them, and I don't like why. I don't get it.
One of the biggest comments that was floating around was like, "Oh, y'all haters just couldn't stand to see like two diverse people holding hands at the end of this show. That's why you hated it." Like, out of all the fucking problems in this show, that's the thing that you choose to pick out. That's what you think people had an issue with?
Yeah.
Damn, man.
They're just pea brains. It's all it is.
It's straw manning as well. It's like, I'm just going to ignore all the problems with the writing, the characters, the story, like even the fight choreography, everything. And it's just, no, people just couldn't handle it because it had some diverse characters in it or some diverse casting. That must be the reason.
And what it tells me is that they have no understanding of lore or writing or story progression or anything like that. And all they can look at is surface level and be like, oh, you know what? You don't like this because they can't explain anything. You're just racist. Oh, okay, cool.
I mean, it's easier,
Thanks for
right?
telling me you literally don't understand storytelling at all.
I'm sure it's not projection, too.
Yeah. Not at all. That couldn't
Why engage with the
possibly be
person's
it.
argument when you can just dismiss everything they say
Which
by
is-
labeling them racist and then just
If a
move on?
person approaches media by going, all right, how many people of whatever race are here? I can decide whether or not I'm going to engage with this. When they see someone else hates it, they can be like, you're doing the same thing I am, but you hate the wrong races. Like,
Yeah.
wait a minute.
Yeah. You're supposed to hate white guys.
Yeah.
Just want good
It's-
characters, man.
It's just been, it's one of those predictable things. I think it's played out exactly how we probably expected. Like, we had a feeling this show was going to be bad right from the get-go with who was going to be, helming it. Her lack of real experience or knowledge about the Star Wars universe, probably the reasons why she were hired was suspect at best. We got the trailer. It looked like garbage. Then we started watching the show, and sure enough, it was terrible. No one watched it. It's not getting renewed. That's it. Like, it's completely predictable. We could have told Disney that this was going to happen a year ago and saved them $180 million. And now people are acting all shocked that the show got cancelled, and they're hurt, and they're offended, and they're enraged by it. Why? Like, we all warned you this was going to happen, and it did happen. Where do you expect us to go from here?
Well, we warned them with the Marvels, and this ended up being the Marvels of Star Wars. It was such a predictable demise. The only surprising thing at all was it was actually worse than I imagined. Once we got the singing communist lesbian space witches, which, I mean, that was the peak cringe moment.
That's never going to be stopped.
Never going to be topped. We say that now, though. We say that now. Things can always get worse. But the fact that they canceled it publicly, because Disney's had plenty of time to go, no, this isn't canceled. It's still, it's still in the works. And that's all I have to say is it's in the works, just like the Rian Johnson trilogy. They never officially canceled the Dan and Dave trilogy. I think they mentioned it, but Disney didn't mention it. So Disney rarely does this, like rarely does this. That's the surprising part. The surprising part is they canceled a show led by a gay woman starring a non-binary person of color.
Yeah.
Playing two parts.
Do you think we'll see, I don't know, will we see like May and Osha make cameos in other shows? Will they try and work them into something else? Just so they can say that they're not abandoning the characters?
I have that question for all the other MCU girls that have come in over the past 5 years. Are we going to see all of them in just random projects? Where are they all going? Are we going to see Gaia next?
I want to see Echo in everything. I want her to be the next Tony Stark. She can lead the MCU. I've got a good feeling about her.
We got Ironheart for that, okay?
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. But
who's Ironheart? Is that Tony's daughter?
No, it's just a random.
It's Riri Williams. Riri Williams, a 15-year-old girl who's a super genius who's smarter than Tony Stark. Nice. And they inserted her into the Iron Man comic. Continued to call it Iron Man because Tony Stark was the AI talking to her.
Yeah, didn't you watch Wakanda Forever?
No.
Theory?
Wow. She is truly Iron Man for modern audiences. I just wanted to read out a couple of super chats just as we're going here, because there's a couple have come in that are biggies. That guy gave us $100. He said, first time catching a live stream of you gents. Thank you for the videos through the years. Critical Drinker, Mauler, Nerdrotic. Greatly appreciated and best wishes. Thank you very much, my friend. Appreciate that. Viewer Newest says, the Acolyte was cancelled? Yes. And nothing of value was lost. Cheers. How right you are, sir. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of content that's been lost as a result of this. I honestly wanted to get some Acolyte figures. I wanted to see what merch that they had.
Oh God.
We were talking about it on the real BBC. We need a queer mirror on the beach disrobing playset with thirst trap action. That's what we need.
Is there a throbbing lightsaber that goes with him?
Is there a
throbbing girthy lightsaber?
I'll tell you what. I'm really enjoying making the Plagueis skits, though. That's doing great for my social media. So.
Yeah, that's good.
Thanks,
yeah, you should have fun with it, man. It's good.
Poor guy's trapped in a cave forever.
Yeah.
So got to do something with it.
I just want some sun. Noons says, so tired of Disney providing such shit films and series, calling it Star Wars when they clearly have no love or respect for it. All of these things are true. But it does make me think, we've obviously talked here about they've cancelled the show. They've withdrawn the merch. They may potentially willow it and just put it into a memory hole so that it never existed. Is this some kind of attempt to turn around Star Wars in the way that they seem to be trying to turn around the MCU? You know, might they go in there with a scythe and just fire a whole bunch of activists, writers, and producers and clean house? Is this them trying to turn things around, or is it just a one-off?
Is that what Marvel's done?
Yeah, so, well, apparently, a few weeks back, Chris Gore leaked that they had quietly fired a lot of their most activist producers and writers and so on at Marvel. They had done it behind closed doors because they're very aware of the problem that they've created for themselves. They're aware of the direction the MCU has gone since Endgame, like trying to get too much identity politics into it. And they're now trying to course correct in a quiet way where they don't have to make a public admission that they fucked up.
Oh, shit.
And I just wonder if they might start to do that with Star Wars as well, or whether that's just an impregnable fortress to them.
Impregnable fortress.
What feels like
Maybe.
what happened here is that if
Maybe.
Star Wars were a guy, they stabbed him in the back with a sword and then an axe and then
Star Wars is a
fucking
girl mauler
spear.
now.
Of
Okay.
course, yes. And then a
The Force is
knife, a
female,
pocket knife, kitchen knife, and then you looked at him when he did the kitchen knife and he pulled that back out. Went sorry, but the others are all still in.
Yeah. Well, that'd be wild, man, if they kind of just course correct on Star Wars. But you see, Dave Filoni now is writing Mando Grogu movie.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Can't wait for that.
Oh,
I mean, I don't know your thoughts now at this point on Dave Filoni. Like, I know in the past you were quite enthusiastic about him.
Yeah, not feeling the same way as I used to. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's diplomatic.
No, yeah, I kind of got to wake up and smell the coffee. Be like, okay, this is kind of I feel like the Acolyte might be the final straw for a lot of things. Maybe even for Disney. Like, hey, maybe we should not do this shit anymore.
when you have such an embarrassing, undeniable failure, but that they could have still kept secret. Like, hey, biggest premiere of 2024. Sure, we didn't premiere anything other than Echo, which a lot of people haven't heard about. Sorry, I got to do that one.
You don't have a leg to stand on with that kind of humor, Gary.
Yeah, so like they could have just been quiet and moved along, said it's in development, whatever. So for them to come out and do that, it had to be just abysmal. And it tells you like how bad are other things that they quietly haven't, like Falcon and Winter Soldier got a Captain America 4. So that's its sequel. Loki got a season 2, but so much hasn't. You know, we haven't gotten that Hawkeye season 2. Eternals 2 got canceled, and many lives will be lost, by the way, because of that. So that's very sad. They're really good at being quiet about stuff. So it had to be really, really bad.
And then taking the merch down too. That's wild. Like, what more of a statement do we need? That's just.
It makes me want to buy it now. It makes me. I really need. I'm going to start buying action figures for shitty shows.
It'll be rare. They'll be rare. Like a Basil action figure or a May action figure.
Marvel's Katie. I have a Marvel's Katie. Okay, everybody has to have a Marvel's Katie.
Yeah. I've heard if you try to get a Rose Tico doll, like they'll actually pay you to take it at this point. So
cool.
Well, and it's like every toy store I go to or collectible shop, comic shop, it's always just like a Reva action figure or a just one of those characters that just like nobody likes. And it makes me wonder, like, is it because no one's buying them, or is it because they're just stocking them like crazy?
I don't imagine anyone's buying them, really.
I don't think so either.
I want to get Reva with Fan Attack action, and it's got like those 3 Instagram posts on it. That's what it comes with. And her lightsaber that didn't sell.
Oh, dude. What about like an Osher May figure that it comes up with a brand new diss track just with AI?
Yes. Oh.
They could honestly do 2 for 1. So like you buy the action figure and it says OSHA and or May. It's like either one.
Use your imagination, kiddos.
Yeah.
How many signatures do they have now to Greenlight Season 2?
Oh, hundreds.
At least
maybe even 200.
I think like 5,000.
You know, so if each of them pay like $10 million, maybe the show will get funded.
Sure. Yeah. Just to put it in perspective, Game of Thrones season 8 being remade which I just checked today, and it got signed by 130 people today, by the way. That was in 2019, has 1.8 million signatures.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could say that was a thing back then. Yeah.
So if they were
That's,
to willow it, right? If they were to memory hold this entire show, could they then claim the tax break on it? Because they'd have to enter that agreement to never show it
I
again.
don't know about tax break, but I think you could write down losses all day long, especially with streaming, because technically the only way it's making money is if it brings in subscribers. The merchandise didn't make any money. They didn't license it anywhere. So other than the merch that they pulled off the Disney store, and it's still languishing out there, and that probably was a massive loss for them. Yeah, I think you could. I think you could just write it off as a loss at the end of the year.
They still have Hasbro pre-sales for the Acolyte, amazingly.
Yeah. The helmet. The helmet was out there, yeah.
Oh, the Smilo Ren one.
What?
Yeah.
The CGI render that wasn't actually made.
Exactly.
I was like, they've not made this. This is just a CGI render. What? They're trying to sell you a CGI render. All right, cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
This is they said it's a artificial, or it's an image that will not represent what the product looks like.
Oh, okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah, no shit.
Theory, I was going to ask you, because I've not had a chance to talk to you since the trailer came out. They've obviously released a trailer for Skeleton Crew.
Oh, yeah.
What is your thoughts on that? And
Hey,
what
it
do you
looks
think the
cute.
chances are?
Looks cute. Looks fun.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing they can really mess up, is there? Well,
I mean,
say
it's just,
that.
it's an odd choice. It kind of looks like Star Wars in suburbia, which I'm not quite sure where they're going with this one, because like the appeal of Star Wars was always, the adventure. It's like exotic, it's this far-flung worlds and civilizations and stuff. And this feels very, very like at home. I don't know. It's hard to describe.
Totally. Well, it feels like E.T.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like to me.
Or
E.T.
Goonies.
with like a little bit of Star Wars spin on there, but hey, I'm up for a fun little adventure. But I don't think there's anything they can ruin in terms of Jedi or legacy characters, and I say that, and I'm always proven wrong. But for now, it looks like just a kids show, kind of like
Just wait, Darth Plagueis will be in it.
Yeah.
God.
He'll still be in the cave, though.
Yeah, they like fly over.
Somehow
Please
return.
Yeah, what'd you think? You think it doesn't belong?
I don't know. It just it had a weird vibe to it, I suppose. Like watching it, I was just feeling like, oh, this just, I don't know. It almost feels like a bunch of kids watching Star Wars or something, rather than like being actually in a Star Wars adventure. I don't know. It's a weird one to describe, but it just it had a strange look and feel to it. I mean, it's nice to see Jude Law in there doing stuff.
It felt like something you see at the park when you're about to go on a ride. Like it's setting you up for some ride.
Right. Yeah. Like one of those little, like the ET ride.
Yeah. Because it feels weirdly low profile as well. In that it maybe should have just been an animated show or something, rather than doing all this in live action. Because I feel like it's not going to attract a huge amount of attention. The Acolyte, for good or bad,
Got a lot of attention.
a lot of people were talking about it.
A lot of attention.
It's like, I don't think the Skeleton Crew is going to get that. In which case it maybe should have just been an animated show and just have these guys doing the voiceovers.
Do you think there is a multiplier beyond just money and engagement of actual critical response? Do you think that's considered? Because I was just thinking, I don't buy that this show would be more engaged with necessarily than the Acolyte, but it's not going to piss anyone off, right? That's the expectation. It's probably going to slip under the radar.
Yeah.
And so in that case,
Marvel.
yeah, and it's like, so why would that get scuttled away or something? It's like, probably not. Like, I wouldn't have thought they would care enough. And I wonder if that is a variable. Like, it costs us a lot of money. People fucking are clearly hating on it extensively online. Let's just get rid of it. I wonder if that plays in at all.
What, in terms of like keeping the Acolyte around?
Yeah, because
or Skeleton Crew.
I don't expect the Skeleton Crew to do very well at all, but I also don't think they would do to it what they did to Willow,
Yeah.
No.
I think, there is something to be said for just brand reputation and brand damage, I suppose. And yeah, there's a difference between a show that, wasn't great, but and so didn't attract a huge amount of viewership, but like it didn't actively piss people off. Probably something like, what can I think of that's bland and inoffensive. Maybe Ahsoka or something. Like I don't think there was a huge backlash against Ahsoka. It was just a bit shit. And so that's something they can probably reliably leave hanging around. It's not going to damage their brand necessarily. But the Acolyte was something different. That was an actual fan backlash.
That was a bridge too far. Ahsoka was bad. Ahsoka was really bad. I think it did a lot of damage. I think Obi-Wan did a lot of damage to the brand. Tons of damage to the brand. And Ahsoka was just predictably bad.
Ahsoka was really bloated with nothing as well. Like, there was really bad, and then there was just loads of nothing.
Crossing your arms.
The Thrawn stuff, I think, was the most that it pissed off the fan base. Because he was a letdown significantly.
Oh, season 2 coming 2025.
Survive till 2025.
Well, we're getting a lot in 2025, aren't we? We're getting
a ton of stuff. A lot of stuff delayed from this year. Yeah.
It was but a reprieve.
Wait, what else are we getting? Hold on. Maybe we're not getting a lot.
We got a Rey movie coming as well.
Well, the Rey movie is not
6.
Yeah.
Mandalorian Grogu. When's that coming out? 26?
26.
I would have thought 26,
Yeah, the next 2 years, next year will be a lot of the delayed stuff. 26 is going to be insane. 26, you get the Star Wars movie, the Harry Potter show will be coming out.
This is going to be fucking hilarious.
There'll be possibly two Game of Thrones show with Night of the Seven Kingdoms, if it can turn around quicker, and House of the Dragon coming out.
Season 3.
That's just off the top of my head. There's a lot of stuff coming up.
It would just be funny, though, because by that metric, we're trying to figure out if they released no Star Wars movies from 2019 all the way up until 2026, where they drop the Rey and Mando and Grogu shit all at once. You'd just be like, God.
Wow.
I recommend against it.
We'd come back with all new levels of shittiness. I honestly wonder, because I've said this before, like, presumably Kathleen Kennedy is going to have to leave at some point. She will get too old and retire.
No, she's waiting for a win.
Yeah, well, that's it. Like, partly that, but also, like, how many of these projects will survive after she's gone? You know, how many of them are just like vanity projects, but like she's pushing forwards? But as soon as she's out the door, like the next person they bring in as president of Lucasfilm,
if they're a serious person who's like good at their job and wants to create, profits and extend the legacy of Star Wars, they would certainly scrub everything and start over. Yeah, I don't know what that looks like. I'm not saying it's the best idea in the world, and we've seen what happens when heroes return. But that's what they'd have to do, because everything they release, it makes it worse.
I know what it looks like. It just looks like you go back to Revenge of the Sith, and you start from there.
Yeah, willow everything that Disney have done.
All of it.
Do you think that they're going to willow this Acolyte show and like take it off Disney Plus?
No.
Probably not,
because it's because of the Star Wars name. I think Willow was easier. It's attached to Lucasfilm, so I mean that was shocking that they did that. Like I was like, whoa, canceling fine, but ripping it off so that also shows you how expensive it is to have stuff on the platform. The storage, they're paying tons of money for that. So they ripped off a bunch of Marvel stuff, a bunch of Marvel behind the scenes stuff that they spent a bunch of money on. They took that off the platform too. So,
it's not the storage space that's the issue, because each episode is going to be like however many gigabytes of data.
Then why would you? I've heard it's very expensive. I've heard down. But I've heard it's very expensive to have but basically they're renting the storage. They don't have their own, right?
Well, yeah, let's just be completely clear, Trigger. However much it costs, it means that it costs more to have it than not. Like they did the numbers, I guess. Right. Because they would have those numbers.
But there is tax issues. And if you rip it off, there's probably a clause in everybody's contract about residuals. Like you don't get any. So any way they could save a couple of bucks, these bastards, which is funny.
Well, then they could remove it. They could. I mean, I don't see people watching the show.
Well, what Gary said, though, that's quite a big deal for a Star Wars thing. Willow, that was the beginning of Willow's resurgence. And then they were like, no, it's not. Never mind.
I know, but like the same principle applies, and it's the same studio. Ultimately, it is Lucasfilm, and so clearly it can be done. And I think Disney mandate it, and I don't see what they would gain by keeping it up, because nobody is going to want to watch it now. They're not going to make any money out of it, and as we were saying there, it's probably a net detraction from their brand. It's actively harming the Star Wars brand just by existing. And so
yes,
it doesn't.
So is
it seems
everything
like a
else.
no-brainer. Like
Agreed.
on the face of it, it's like, yeah, kill it, get rid of it.
Well, that's actually
Like-
why I was saying about the critical reception probably plays into it at least somewhat, right? Because Andor is on its way with a second season and quite a bit of they're trying to build some hype around it, even though that didn't do particularly well. Like people didn't really watch much of it. But Andor was not repeatedly referenced as essentially killing Star Wars. You didn't see people like Asmongold making videos about clips on Andor saying it was awful.
No.
So you gotta wonder,
Yeah, you're right. It was non-Star Wars people that were making Star Wars videos like Moist Critical and
Everyone was making fun of the stupid lesbian scene. Like, what the fuck's going on?
Do you guys remember that credits music? Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Twin flames.
No, that's some rude shit, man. Like, you don't get to do that. It feels like an unwritten rule, right? Like you got to follow at least somewhat of the style and format of the thing you're creating, and then they were like, "We're not gonna," and it's like you don't get to just not do that.
We're new age and edgy, and we do what we want.
You don't have the authority to do this sort of thing, and you certainly don't have the artistic skill to be able to make it work. It was just hilarious, like the whole ethos behind it. And I said this in my video, like I really feel like for someone like Kathleen Kennedy, the Acolyte represented her ultimate vision for what she wanted Star Wars to be. It was like the evolution of Rey and Ahsoka and all those other characters. Now you've got two for the price of one, two strong, diverse female characters who are played by a non-binary actress who's also like mixed race, and there's a ton of like lesbian bullshit in there. Every kind of like sexuality, every kind of thirst trap under the sun, full of the message, and no one watched it.
Yeah, and you can't blame Disney. They put $180 million into this, so they put a bunch of resources behind it. And the 5 or 10 critics on Twitter are just like, "You're not protecting the actors and the creatives with the Acolyte." They made it $180 million.
They got paid, man.
They got paid.
And if you do Amanda Stenberg and make your diss track, literally going after your own fans, it's like, okay, you don't get protection anymore. Like you have put yourself out there, you have gone on the offensive, young lady. And if you get backlash as a result of that, well, that is a choice that you made.
Yeah, you can't be calling an entire fan base racist and this and that just because they don't like the show that you're in. Like, what the? What logic is this, man?
It's
like,
interesting how
anyone who doesn't subscribe or watch our show is a racist, or I don't know.
Well, that's true as well.
Imagine
that. But it's interesting how that's become less and less effective to the point that now it's just become the object of mockery when you try to play that card,
and it's
no one buys it anymore.
Yeah, because no one takes it seriously anymore. It's like, and then actual racists will be like, they don't get the punishment. It's like, oh, you're using that card. Yeah, okay. You're crying wolf.
Yeah, that's where it ends up going.
Well,
I'm
you're
not ready
attacking
for how bad Rey is going to do. That movie will.
Oh God!
It'll just be a total embarrassment.
It will create a singularity.
I think so. Yeah.
You think
that's going to be the Marvels times 10?
The thing is, you have to remember, because like whether or not it's bad, if it comes after a cultural feeling that Star Wars is in the fucking toilet compared to, take for example, TFA times, then it'll hit way worse. We were talking about this with the Acolyte, right? It's bad, and it's possibly the worst thing that's ever been done. But it seemed to have hit harder than ever. And it's like, how did that happen? It's like, well, it's all that damage that's been done before, isn't it? And so if a Rey movie comes out now, it's just going to be the most like sigh from the fucking audience, isn't it? It's like, here we fucking go. And then of course, if it's a bad movie on top of that, that's going to hit in a bad way.
I mean, you've got essentially a documentary filmmaker who's in charge of this one. I don't know how that's meant to work. Like, that is not an artist in the same sense as a proper filmmaker is.
Well, an activist as well out of that. You got to remember.
Political
activism.
You've got like one of the least popular characters in Star Wars history coming back. Like, nobody was calling out for another Rey movie, but here we are. We've got one, and it's just. It's like, again, it's just a perfect storm. It's much like.
Are you sure? I swear they said in media releases people really wanted her story to continue. Are you sure they're not calling out for it?
Maybe they are, yeah. Maybe
they
I'm
lying?
just too bigoted to understand
There may be.
Oh, it
the
may
power of Ray. But man, yeah, it feels like Snow White in a way, where everything that could possibly be set against it has been. And so it's the worst possible way to try and continue Star Wars on film.
Why? Like, what weird thing to choose to do as well? Like, what? Who sits there in Star Wars after those the sequel trilogy and just goes, "I know what we're going to do. Star Wars in the toilet. I know what we're going to do. This will reinvigorate it, guys." What?
Yeah.
A Ray movie? Sorry, what? Like, who said that? Who thought that was a good? I mean, we know who.
Multiple
Obviously,
people
Kathleen
said
Kennedy.
it. Multiple people had to sign off on it, including Kathleen Kennedy. You're right. Like this
Yes,
got through
outrageous.
a team of people. Like it paid a lot of money.
This is what makes me wonder as well. If, say, she was to leave, because as far as I understand it, her contract is up this year. If she was to retire, would they kill the Ray movie? Would they quietly kill it? Or is it too far gone now? They have to commit to it.
They'll do it.
How much pre-production they've done on it? I guess how many millions they've spent on pre-production. That'd be the clincher.
Yeah.
Aren't they paying Daisy 12 mil or something? 11 mil.
Fucking refund.
Oh,
It's nice.
How is she worth 12 million? Like, she has done nothing since Star Wars.
That's nice. That's nice payday.
Yeah, I mean, like, from her point of view, I'm sure it's great. She could probably just retire after that.
Invest
do
a good
nothing,
chunk
kick back.
and
Sure,
peace
retarded
out.
anyway.
Yeah.
I can't see them killing it. It would. I mean, if we lived in a normal world, they would, but we don't live in that world. can't
I
see them
could
doing it.
I could maybe see them pushing it back, right? And then prioritizing the Mandalorian and Grogu, getting that out the door, hoping against hope that it's going to be successful, and then just coming up with another movie to put in the way and do that, and then keep pushing the Rey movie back and then not talk about it anymore, and then just quietly hope that it fades away. That, I think, is how if they were to handle it, that's how they would do it. But
At this point, just give Daisy the 12 million, but she has to sign an NDA. She can't say anything after they chicane her movie. But that would you could actually that's a payment, so you can write that down on your taxes, and it would be in that win. Absolutely.
yeah. Mr. H, I know that you've got yourself a new puppy in the house. You've got yourself a new doggo, and he's not
Made
like
an
the critical
appearance
doggos
briefly.
going a bit mental. So I think you might have to drop out and deal with all the mess it's created.
What
yeah,
dog?
it's not. Border Terrier.
Cool.
So, yeah, I've got one already, but picked him up a friend basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, bit of a nightmare. I keep looking out the corner of my eye, and it's just it's chaos. I'm not looking forward to cleaning up the chaos.
Yeah, I feel for you, man. I'm sorry that you have to deal with this, but it is the way of the doggo. But I tell you what, if you're able to get things squared away with your doggo, feel free to drop back on, because we're going to talk a little bit about Alien Romulus. But
yeah, absolutely. I'll see how much I can get resolved and sorted. I'll try
Yeah.
and lock her in a fort somewhere. So tear the house apart.
all right, cool, man. Well, let me know if you're able to come back in, and we'll get you straight back in when you're here.
Will do. Cheers, guys.
Thanks, man.
See ya.
Cheers. Yeah, I guess I was going to ask a little bit about your thoughts, gentlemen, on Romulus. I know that it's
Haven't
had a
seen
very well. You won't have many
I've been
thoughts on
waiting
it, so
this
I'll keep this
weekend.
brief.
I'll see.
You're going to see it.
Yeah.
Well,
Should I duck out so I don't get spoiled?
I can keep it vague.
No, don't.
I'll talk more about the box office for it, because it had a pretty strong opening weekend, 100+ million,
Wow.
which is decent already for a movie that only cost $80 million. This was not a big budget film, and it seems to have resonated with people. It seems to have done pretty well, and yeah, I'm a little bit surprised by how much buzz there is around it, because we've all seen it, apart from Theory, and wasn't loving it. Like, I don't know.
Oh, really?
I
it was
don't,
bad. Oh,
not
shit,
bad
okay.
necessarily. Like, if you were to watch the first 30-40 minutes, you'd probably come away thinking, damn, we're setting up some good stuff there. It was pretty fun. Pretty decent little alien movie. But once you get to the third act, oh gosh, that movie
Yeah.
just throws everything at you.
Disappointing. Because I went into it like I thought it'd be a mediocre, cool movie. You know, kill a couple hours, see some aliens, kill some people, be awesome. And yeah, the third act, and there's a premise that just it's the more I think about it, the more impossible it is, and it's the entire premise that like lays the groundwork for the movie. That happens in the first 2 minutes, Mahler? Happens in the first 2 minutes.
So I was about to say, I was expecting us to get an Alien 3 without the awful before taste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we got the awful before taste, and then there was a nice gap of, okay.
Yeah.
And then other things happened. I'm trying to be spoiler-free, of course.
Nah, you can spoil it, man. If it, you know what, it's not a big deal. I don't even know.
Okay.
Does this take place after or before
It's-
Prometheus?
it is
Between 1 and 2.
It is an interquel.
Oh
Theory.
shit!
You know what an interquel is? It's a subcategory of a midquel,
Yeah. So
which
so if they-
means it's both a prequel and a sequel.
that's crazy. It's like
all at
if
the
they
same
do
time.
a episode 1.5.
Yeah, so it's set
Yes.
about 20 years after the events of Alien. So, to put it into context, it begins with them combing the wreckage of the Nostromo, right? Even though it got vaporized by a nuclear explosion, but let's forget
3
that.
times.
Yeah, 3 times.
Can we also
What's that?
forget about the fact that if it did explode and there were pieces, they blew up.
Yeah.
So they're still
3
like,
times?
So,
3 times. And in space, when stuff starts moving, it tends to stay moving.
yeah.
So
So, cast your mind back to the end of Alien theory. So, Ripley escapes from the Nostromo in the lifeboat. Nostromo blows up with 3 nuclear explosions. The alien stuck on board. She blows it out the airlock and then fires the engines to like blast it off into space. So, this thing is moving at however many tens of thousands of miles per hour through space because it's the shuttle's already moving pretty fast. A rescue pod or a rescue team from the Weyland-Yutani Corporation arrives on the scene 20 years later and just immediately finds the alien drifting in space next to the Nostromo.
Well, that doesn't make sense.
which flew
No, it
away
doesn't.
from the Nostromo
Yeah.
in the ship, by the way.
Yeah. And it's fantastic because it's flying right next to it's drifting right next to a piece of wreckage with the Nostromo
With the
name
name
printed on the side of it.
Nostromo.
Wow, that was convenient, wasn't it?
That's
Well,
some studio
you
note
guys,
shit.
Come on.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe it like bounced off a planet and it just like
So
Yeah.
you remember in the Rise of Skywalker theory that really intact Death Star on the planets that was vaporized?
Totally
Yeah.
remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's that. And it's the alien because it's still got the fucking grappling hook thing sticking out of it. So anyway, they bring it on board. The alien survives somehow because it made a cocoon around itself, and they start experimenting on it because the Weyland-Yutani Corporation wants to make, what could you describe it as, like the perfect worker, that won't get sick because humans and all these colonies throughout the galaxy, they're succumbing to alien diseases. They can't handle the harsh environments and stuff. They
Keep
need a
in
way to
mind,
make them.
This is a company that makes synthetic people
I was about to say,
pretty
yeah.
well.
So yeah, they
Sorry.
essentially need people who can, be tougher, stronger, able to withstand harsh environments. If only we had some kind of artificial people who don't
Yeah.
sleep or get tired or need to be paid money or eat.
Breathe oxygen.
Yeah, or breathe oxygen. Yeah, like, if only we had those things. But it's crazy. We don't have them apparently.
wow.
And so that's the basic premise of all their experimentation. So
So they literally want to make the alien like a worker.
So they harvest the blood of the aliens or their DNA to make the black goo from Prometheus.
Wait. You're making it sound like it makes more sense. He says
Yeah.
he reverse engineers from the big chap into facehugger printing. That's what happens first
3D printing facehuggers. Yes.
out of the big chap. And then he reverse engineers the DNA of the facehuggers into the black goo from Prometheus.
Into the black goo. And then puts the facehuggers in a freezer bag. Ziploc
Yeah.
freezer bag.
And then, oh no, they remove the cryogenic freezing like fuel cells because they want to power up their own cryo beds, and that causes the facehuggers to escape, and all kinds of wacky shenanigans ensue. So yeah, it starts off like if you ignore that bit with the Nostromo and the alien, and you just get straight to the main character. There's a decent chunk of movie, maybe 30 minutes or so, where she's trapped on this crappy mining planet. She wants to get away, move to a different planet where like they actually have sunlight and shit. But she's refused. Like her contract gets extended by like 5 years or something. She's basically just a slave laborer like everyone there. So she gets the opportunity to go on a snatch and grab operation led by a bunch of fellow miners, I suppose. Somehow they got their hands on a spaceship that can go into orbit, which, okay, fine.
Yeah.
They've detected like a derelict spacecraft up there. They reckon they can go on board, grab themselves some hypersleep chambers, and then set course for the nearest colony that's nicer than this one, and they'll just fall asleep. Okay. So all they need to do is go on board, get the equipment that they need, and then leave. And that's when they get on board this station where they've been doing all the crazy facehugger 3D printing.
And it turns out awry.
Yeah, it turns out the alien escaped and killed everyone on board, and turned, some of them are aliens now, and there's all kinds of the usual stuff. But then it just goes completely insane towards the end of it. And a character from Alien makes a return.
Ripley?
No.
It's not even... It to be fair, it isn't a character from Alien, but
it's the likeness of one.
Yeah.
So things go sideways, and the whole premise of a group of younger workers coming across a station, that works. I am on board with that. Over, let's explain the space jockey and rip off everything from Zachariah Sitchin to Eric Von Daniken and the Ancient Alien thing to explain everything. I am like making just a horror movie. That's fine. The premise didn't need to be there at all. They could have just showed up on the ship. We could give us some background, and it was just an experiment gone wrong at a certain time, and it would have been better.
Like if the station had sent out SOS and the scavengers got there before.
Yes.
I don't know, help or something, because they were in the area, and they realized that's the time limit. They're going to have help turn up in exactly, 1 day. We got that long to scavenge this place. And then they go, oh, shit, there's a lot more here than we realized. A monster.
So there's a ticking clock in this one theory as well, in that the station's orbit is decaying. So they've got like maybe 36 hours, I think, before it crashes into the planet's atmosphere. And so they have to get in and out by then. But then it all goes wrong. And their own spaceship tries to lift off because someone gets infected with a facehugger. They try to leave. They crash. It sets off a big chain reaction of explosions that pushes them out of orbit. So now they only have, 40 minutes or something to get off. Mm-hmm. So, and this is the dumbest thing. The ship, instead of crashing and blowing up, it hits a fuel cell, which explodes. Then it rockets right across the side of the station and lands in a hangar on the other side of the station, like a mile away, perfectly intact and fine, just like falls to the ground inside the hangar. Like, wow, that was very lucky and convenient, wasn't it? So they have to then hike right across the station to get to this ship so that they can then escape. But there's aliens everywhere.
Yeah, just for reference theory, if you're being like tractor beamed into a fucking, I don't know, like a Star Destroyer locked in at the bottom, and then you release and you are just you randomly putting the thruster. You have no idea where you're going, and you happen to crash in the hangar bay of the Star Destroyer. It's like, fuck me, that was lucky.
Nice.
And
it's almost as lucky as finding an alien in the middle of deep space.
You know what?
The one from the first movie.
Almost as lucky as Plagueis being in the random cave.
In a random cave.
But there is a ton of callbacks, and even down to the lines. Like, everyone remembers Ripley like going, "Get away from her, you bitch!" And that line had a lot of meaning in that film beyond just being a cool action movie one-liner. It was essentially a mother or a surrogate mother protecting her surrogate child.
Yeah.
And if you watch the extended version of Aliens, it's got a lot more context, actually. But here it's just a person who says it, who doesn't even seem to know why they're saying it. And they even look perplexed while they're saying it. Mm-hmm. And it's so cheap.
Oh, no. And it just made me feel an android that got updated to say it and didn't even understand the line.
Away from her.
And it's like, he even pauses and goes, "You bitch." Like, it's like the actor himself was going, "Are you really going to make me say this? Like, why are you forcing me to do this?"
That's weird.
And it's a shame because, as I'm sure a lot of people have said, that actor does a really good job. He's playing an
Best
android
part.
in this. And so when the movie starts, he's like a defunct android that's been damaged, and so he's not very effective at doing things anymore. He's kind of like the retarded younger brother or something of the main character.
Special needs brother.
Yeah. Eventually, he gets like an upgrade during this, like a new operating system, and he's then becomes like super android. He's like very smart, very efficient, very motivated, very focused on the mission, and so he becomes a completely different person. And the actor does a great job of conveying both of those versions of the character. So it's a shame to see him wasted saying shitty lines like that don't mean anything.
There's so much wasted in this movie.
Yeah.
The sets look amazing. Everything like technically this movie looks great, and it's such a waste because there's no story or character.
Watching this in chronological order, and you're there with your kid being like, this is amazing, this alien stuff, Alien Romulus, here we go. And then they're like, that was, okay. And then Ripley comes out and says that in Aliens, and the kid's like, yay, she said Andy's line.
I
Like,
hate
wait,
when they
what?
do that. It's like in Rise when Palpatine was just redoing that whole line from the opera scene. It's like, all right, this is kind of cool seeing him say that, but then you're like, well.
And this very much is like the Disney trilogy. Somebody in my chat called it the Force Awakens of Alien, and I think that's a very good description.
And it's annoying because it feels like there's a good movie in there, and it starts off as a good movie, and it's almost like some studio executive stepped in halfway through production and said, no, there's not enough stuff that people will recognize here. We need more lines that people remember. We need more cool stuff. We need pulse rifles. We need the get away from her, you bitch. We need the stinger where they think they've escaped, but then the alien gets on board the life raft and has to fight them one last time.
And you know what? We need to get that scene everyone loved from Alien Resurrection. We got to do that again.
Yeah. Oh God. And tons of producer notes in this one. It was just a rehash of it's Alien's greatest hits.
Done by a cover band.
Done by a cover band.
The weird thing is, I think
We're
I
on
still
lots
like
of drugs.
I think I like it more than Prometheus and Covenant. That's the weird thing.
You know what? I really like Prometheus.
But why?
I don't know. I just thought the whole premise of like these elite beings, and then mixing with the humans, I just thought that was really good. I wanted to see more of that, but I didn't.
To me, they're almost the same in two different directions. One's like, I want to strike out, be original, and answer some questions and do whatever I want. And the other one's like, I want to play it safe and, run the greatest hits. And that they both kind of suck. Like,
poor execution.
I think,
vision of both, yeah.
Were those giant beings that were like elite
engineers?
Humans? Yeah. So, who were they exactly?
So they're like an alien race that goes seeding life throughout the galaxy. So essentially, they'll go to planets that look like they'll be viable, that have potential for intelligent life to evolve.
Yeah.
They'll then impregnate that planet with life and then move on. For unknown purpose, really. But then when the humans evolve to the level of like interstellar travel, they make contact with these aliens. The aliens then the engineers decide, we have to kill all of you. Why? Don't know. They just do. They want to kill humans now, even though they created them.
Humans killed Engineer Jesus. Wasn't that the law?
Yeah, that was it. Jesus...
fuck off with that. That's some shitty deleted
What do you mean?
scene. That's a deleted scene. I'm not
Jesus
going with
was
that.
an engineer, and they killed him. So they were going back to wipe out the human race, but something happened, so that they have all those canisters. And the engineers aren't like, because the engineer and this is all deleted scene lore shit. Are refer to paradise, right? So Earth is based on paradise, supposed to be heaven, but the engineers are basically like angels. And the xenomorphs are demons.
Right.
That's basically what it is.
Okay.
Easy to understand.
So then when he drank the thing in the river or whatever it was, and he like disintegrated, what was that?
So that was his DNA mixing with the black goo to essentially
creating life on Earth, right?
Yeah.
So he killed himself to create life.
Yeah. So his life, his DNA then proliferated throughout the ecosystem of like proto-Earth to make life for the first time.
Crazy.
That I guess that's what you would draw from it. Like, it's never explicit, but I think that's what they were going for with the movie.
Wild.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, right, if you cast your mind back to the first Alien movie, right, when they get aboard that spaceship that's derelict where the alien eggs are, and they just come across the space jockey, like this fossilized, huge alien life form that's been killed by the xenomorphs. We don't know where it came from. We don't know what its purpose was. We don't know anything about the species that it belonged to. It's just this huge titanic thing with an unfathomable power and technology that got taken down by this alien life form, and it crashed here. And that's great. It's a mystery. It's so compelling and it's so interesting because we don't know anything about it. You can speculate, forever about what it was.
The line between biology and technology with this species, that's part of what makes it so alien, is you look at the creature and you're like, what is this? How does it work? Where does it start? Where does it end?
Yeah,
and then they
I think one of the characters even says it looks like it's growing out of the chair, which is it's cool. It's very, very alien and very interesting. Ridley Scott then set out to answer that, and it's like, what if we make them a bunch of retarded albino bodybuilders that just create life to then destroy life, and have completely unknown purpose, and then it seems like we're setting it up for the end of this movie is going to then lead into Alien, but it isn't really. It's something completely different. Yeah, it's stupid. It's a bad idea, and it frustrated the fuck out of me when I watched it.
Yeah, that's where I got confused. I was like, okay, so this movie is essentially how Earth was created, like how humans were created.
Well,
is that
life was seen?
Yeah, I think Ridley Scott was trying for a kind of meaning of life story, search for your creator, the search for God.
Little pieces of the ancient alien theory, and just kind of threw in a blender. That's pretty much what it was.
And then in the next one, I forgot what it was called. Then humans created the aliens.
Yeah, David is doing his experiments and shit.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
with the flower dust or whatever it was.
I don't want it forgotten, by the way. Prometheus is also famous for having the most retarded approach to scientists exploring a new alien planet with life on it. There's about 50 instances of any even remotely sci-fi familiar nerds just losing their shit watching it. It's so hard to watch people be so fucking stupid. I don't know if you guys saw the clip of Quentin Tarantino saying that he watched it and being like, the second that the biologist was like, "Ooh, cute little space cobra," that he was taken full out of the film. He was like, I can't do this.
This was a guy who was terrified of a fucking 10,000-year-old fossilized alien head that had been decapitated that he found in a doorway, and he ran away from that, but he was fine with a live fucking snake vagina that was right next to him, and he thought, "Oh yeah, hi little guy."
I think what makes it worse too is that it appears and he goes, "Whoa, okay," and then starts being fun with it, and then he goes, "Bah," and then he keeps doing it, and then it opens its wings, and it's and he's like, "It's still cute." It's like, how do you have that many warnings and you keep poking?
These guys had a holographic 3D map of the entire complex as well, and still managed to get lost inside it. This is the kind of thing. This is what I'm talking about.
The navigator got lost.
Yeah.
You know who wrote it?
Specifically set up things that allow characters to get out, and you ignore it. Why?
Damon Lindelof wrote that movie.
Yeah, he did.
Damon Lindelof.
I don't understand that.
Damon Lindelof.
Yeah. Ridley Scott coming back to the Alien franchise, and he lets Damon Lindelof do the script.
Freaking Jar Jar disciple from Lost wrote that god awful Watchmen TV show.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. Has that been memory hold now?
Oh God, I hope
definitely. Yeah, I don't think people remember it.
No one ever talks about it.
I remember it being the worst thing I've ever seen. Like the most hateful, freaking worst thing I've ever seen, dude.
Because I'm one of those weird people that actually really enjoyed the Zack Snyder Watchmen.
I did too.
Movie.
It's not that weird.
There we go. He did actually make a good movie once. Yeah. I want to point that out because everything he's made since has been awful. But that was actually pretty good.
There's an animated Watchmen out right now. Part 1.
Any good?
Is it good?
Yeah, it's not bad.
Is Watchmen part of DC?
Yes. Alan Moore repurposed some Charlton characters. He really originally wanted to do it with DC characters, and wanted to show superheroes just going wrong, when they become a tool for the government, and quite frankly, Watchmen's a seminal work. It's taught in universities, which should be a red flag right there. And I really love the story, but it also destroyed comic books because everybody wanted to be Watchmen after that. We're still getting it. The Boys is a disciple of the Watchmen, and there's 1,000 other copycats out there and derivatives. So,
but it never ties into the DC universe or anything, does it?
No,
they never interact with any other characters.
No, you know, like Rorschach is supposed to be like the Question. That's basically like one character is kind of like another. So,
isn't it one of those characters that like Alan Moore doesn't understand why people like him, and it's like the guy who's literally willing to sacrifice his own life to uphold his principles. Like, you don't understand why people find that compelling.
Yeah, but he smells. Sure. Don't you get it? He smells. I'm sorry. Like, when I first discovered like Rorschach is his name and that his face is the thing you'd see, I was like, holy shit! That alone is already fascinating and as like a character design. You know, it doesn't surprise me at all that people love the shit out of Rorschach. It does feel awkward sometimes.
Rorschach is the most real person in it, the least duplicitous person. You might not like his view in the world, but he's honest. He's an honest person.
I think Night Owl as well. He always gave me the impression that he was a guy trying to do his best. He was trying to be a good person, and he didn't like, particularly like working with the comedian. He just didn't understand the guy's like increasingly jaded attitude, because he wanted to be a hero, and it just didn't happen.
There's plenty of good shit in there.
What do you think the new Bat or the new Superman costume?
Superman costume.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've been seeing a lot of flack online. They're like, "Oh, how did they go from Man of Steel to this shit? Looks baggy."
What we've seen is
look
like
baggy.
It does look baggy. What we've seen is like a behind the scenes still, essentially. Yeah. So I don't know what it's going to look like on film when it's been through post production and stuff. It might look a million times better. I would be surprised if James Gunn was to let something sloppy like that go through. I don't feel like he would fuck up something as basic as that. KC, whatever you want to say about him, he is a talented visual filmmaker, and I don't think he would scrimp on something like that. But I'll reserve judgment on this one. I think, this relaunch of the DCU is coming at the worst possible time in superhero movie history. Like, don't let Deadpool and Wolverine fool you, right? Superhero movies are not back. Okay, like the MCU is not saved. Superhero movies are not like they're not going to be the number one thing at the box office again. That was a blip. And the DCU is going to have to really fucking go some if they want to claw back that lost ground.
You don't.
So I don't know if this is going to do it.
RDJ is Doctor Doom's going to return things. Return the hype.
It returned the hype. I don't know if it's a great decision.
It's a cheap. It's a cheap decision. It's a cheap move.
It's a bit of a quick win. It's slapping a Band-Aid on the problem.
It's a safe it's a risky and safe decision with no thought of long term. Like, what is RDJ going to play Doctor Doom forever? And how is he connected to Reed Richards? I know Pedro Pascal is a lot younger than RDJ. How are they going to go to school together? How are they going to know each other from
time travel?
Yeah, like how's that going to work out? It's going to happen in another universe, and they're opening and they're introducing the world to Marvel's first Silver Surfer as female Silver Surfer. So they're already like going so backwards on this.
Are they doing that? Oh, Jesus.
Well, apparently that was an upper executive decision. Somebody above Kevin Feige liked that actress and wanted to bring her in.
Who is it? Sydney Sweeney?
I wish if it was Sydney Sweeney, then it's all right.
As the Silver Surfer?
Yeah.
Then I wouldn't
get her in a skin tight outfit. Isn't she being tapped for some Batman character or something?
No, she. There's a rumor out there that she's going to be Black Cat, but it's just one of those scooper.
Oh my god, that would be amazing.
I mean, honestly, if I was trying to launch like a superhero franchise or whatever, or just the next superhero movie, I'd fucking cast her like that. Like, just get her. Like, get her in a spandex costume. Perfect. Like, we've got a male demographic sorted.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Every teenage boy is going to have that as a poster in their room.
They should. I don't know these days. Maybe they want to be her. I don't know. I don't fucking know.
I get the impression, right? I've said this before. Like they really want to push Zendaya as the next big actress that's going to dominate Hollywood.
Why is this?
I don't get it.
I don't
Like
get
maybe
it
you
either.
guys can clue me in. I don't fucking understand the
Got a
appeal
huge
of Zendaya.
following on social media, like a massive
She
following.
was a
but
model, right? Or was she a singer?
She's sure. She's a model.
Sure.
Has a great social media presence. What she doesn't have is great acting range. She was in Euphoria. So was Sydney Sweeney, by the way. Haven't watched this.
She was in Dune, right?
Yeah, she was
Yeah,
in
she
Dune.
was
She
in
was
Dune,
the worst thing in Dune.
And she's Tom Holland's girlfriend.
Yes.
Yes. So yeah, like Dune, she was fine, I guess. Like in the Spider-Man movies, I found her fucking insufferable. I hated her take on MJ. I don't know if that's her or if that's the director that's at fault there, but like I fucking hated her. It was like nails on a chalkboard every time she was on screen. And I don't understand why people think she's such a big deal. I just don't get the appeal of her.
I don't know.
It's a weird one. Sydney
Yeah,
Sweeney, I can understand.
Sydney
Like,
Sweeney looks like a woman. Zendaya looks like a 12-year-old girl.
yeah,
So
that's it.
now I
Like,
understand why Hollywood. likes
right.
her.
In Hollywood, yeah, I understand why they like her so much.
Fuck. Oh shit. God damn.
Yeah. Should we turn our attention to something nicer though? Because potentially lighter. I don't know. It might end up being a total disaster. But they've just released the trailer for War of the Rohirrim, and I don't know how much of this I can show. I
It's
might have to
Warner
do it in very
Brothers.
small
Yeah,
chunks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
it's Warner
they-
Bros. Dude, don't even show a screenshot.
They're terrible. Well, the thing is, you can fight it and you'll win, but it'll be like 3 weeks from now when they.
That's
I-
fine.
Yeah.
You know,
I just
kinda
won
suffer
my
through it, so-
Amazon appeal for.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
That's good. But yeah, I guess it'd be interesting to get some initial thoughts. So I'll try and interrupt it as much as I can. Anyway, so
Okay.
let's take a quick look.
Fuck.
Okay,
girl
so
bossed
I want to like this.
they-
I really wanted to. I want to
I
like
wanted
it.
to like this too. They girl bossed it. Oh,
I don't
I
understand.
don't know
anything
the
that's going on.
context for that, so I'll give it. I'll reserve judgment a little bit.
she's not supposed to be battling and fighting in the story at all. Like, no, this is supposed to be about Helm Hammerhand, which it probably will be, but through her perspective.
Who is she?
I can't
Sorry.
even remember her fucking name,
Sorry,
to be
guys.
honest with you.
Like, who was she in Lord of the Rings?
Rufus.
She's nobody in Lord of the Rings.
Who is she in
She's the
Lord of the
daughter of Helm Hammerhand. So Helm Hammerhand is what Helm's Deep is named after him. So Lord of the Rings, when they go to Helm's Deep,
Yep.
it's named because of this battle, right? And what happened.
Okay.
She's the golem creature, if you remember. That's it.
She's the Gollum creature?
Just messing.
Smeagol?
Hera. Thank you, Hera. Thank you, chat.
Damn.
I mean, yeah.
In that trailer, they make it sound like she can be crowned and stuff. That's hilarious. Yeah.
It's a shame because in some ways, like the trailer looks suitably epic. The animation looks fantastic.
Sure.
They've got some great voice actors on
Sure.
board. I just, yeah, they had to girl boss it. I'll reserve judgment, I suppose. until
yes,
it comes
yeah.
out.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, it's not like a ton of stuff is coming out later this year,
Yeah.
right around Gladiator 2. So, Squid Game.
Oh, did you see Ridley Scott said like Gladiator 2's one of his best films of all time or something? Like he's already said that about it. It's like, oh god.
What did he say? What did he say? Sorry, say it again.
That Gladiator 2 is one of his best films as far as he's concerned.
I mean,
You know
is
what?
it up
He's
there with
80.
Napoleon?
He's 80.
He's more than 80. He's
I was
like
gonna say he's born.
90.
Let's just give him, what the hell? He's earned
That's
the right.
great, Mr. Scott. Would you like to sit down?
Have you soiled yourself? I mean, do you need a bathroom break?
I just went to type in for his age. He's 86, but I typed in Rudley Scott age.
Rudley.
Rudley. It's not as effective a name, but it still sounds pretty British to me. Rudley.
Come along, Rudley.
Come on, Rudley.
Yeah, I'm just. I wish you would just stop now. Please just stop, Ridley.
Come on, Rudley.
You've done, yeah. Come on,
I
young
hope
Ridley.
he doesn't ruin Gladiator 2. I really hope.
I mean, I wouldn't hold out too much hope.
That's my favorite movie, man. First one.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It's the fact that it references it so heavily as well. It's like what they were doing here with War of the Rohirrim, actually. Remember this much cooler thing that you saw like 20 years ago?
It's so
It's back.
sad. It's so sad. We see this in like fucking every IP, man. Just talking about Romulus earlier, right? Like, God, have some confidence. Have some spine. You can do it. You can be a good thing as well.
There's eventually going to be something that comes out in Hollywood and it's done really right. Like, it's just a good story. And people will be like, see, this is what we want. And then maybe it'll set a new wave.
They do
look at
have them
them,
in
yeah.
isolation, but then it's not always, it doesn't always set a new trend. Like Godzilla -1 made waves over here because it's like, holy shit, like this tiny budgeted movie was actually really good storytelling.
But if
Told
it
a great
makes
story. It was
shit
really
ton of money,
entertaining.
that's what
Yeah,
they want to
made
see.
a lot of money. But then what do? Do you try and make more Godzilla movies over here? Like we're already doing that, and they're garbage. So these things don't always work. They don't always, change the whole trajectory of Hollywood. I don't know where they go from here. It's a problem. The only other, the other thing I was going to cover, it was kind of brief, but I thought it was kind of interesting. We talked before about how they're looking to do a Tomb Raider TV show, right? They've done the movies with Angelina Jolie. They did the Alicia Vikander movie, which no one really cared about. Now they're going to be doing a TV show, and it's going to be helmed by Phoebe Waller-Bridge, which is everyone's favorite fucking activist, writer, director, whatever she's doing now. She inked a multi-million-dollar deal with Amazon Studios several years ago at this point, and has currently produced absolutely nothing with it. But apparently Tomb Raider is going to be one of the projects that he is going to do, but there's no doubt cast on whether it's actually going to happen. And it was really just a rumor that started circulating a couple of days ago. This is from That Park Place saying, Hollywood insiders reportedly believe Amazon and Phoebe Waller-Bridge's live-action Tomb Raider show will not come to fruition. A new report suggests that many Hollywood insiders believe that Amazon and Phoebe Waller-Bridge's live-action Tomb Raider series is not going to see the light of day. This new report comes from Leslie Goldberg at Puck News and notes that Amazon is now searching for a star to play the live-action Lara Croft in the Tomb Raider series. But it's actually got insiders placing bets on whether or not it's ever going to come to fruition. One insider allegedly told the outlet that is a deal for saving face only. So there seems to be doubts on whether it's actually going to happen. And honestly, if you don't want to burn money, I would kill it.
Absolutely. That comes from Puck News, by the way. And like, that's a pretty legit source. And in my Rings of Power coverage from a couple of years ago, it was mentioned like how much money. There's a whole article. A bunch of people did videos on it, including Disbrew. And there's an article about how Amazon's burning money. And within that article, they mentioned that the insider sources at Amazon were unhappy with Phoebe Waller-Bridge because they gave her one of those upfront deals and had gotten nothing yet. So I'm sure her name is faded. It certainly didn't help. Indiana Jones couldn't have helped. But I think there's some people probably with a brain out there going, she's probably not going to make a very good Lara Croft. So
I don't think so. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Her sensibilities as a writer really don't seem to align with the idea of Lara Croft as a character.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, Lara Croft is a classic femme fatale. She is a female action hero. She's adventurous. She's sensual. She's not afraid to use her attractiveness to her advantage. And she's ultimately a treasure seeker, really.
Yes.
She's not really serving a higher purpose. She's there because she wants to go after the next big challenge. And that's what gets her into her next adventure.
She's a cultural appropriator who brutalizes temples and places she doesn't belong.
Of course, yeah.
Against the permission.
Because I'm talking about the actual real version of Lara that was originally created, not the fucking like wet rag of a character who's like got daddy issues and is constantly apologizing for everything. And just wants to return things to their proper place. No, the actual Lara Croft, who is a legit Tomb Raider, that's what actually made her awesome in the first place. That is not going to play well with someone like Phoebe Waller-Bridge. She's not going to be able to write a character like that. She would want to make her, if it's going by anything that she's done before, she would be goofy and quirky and awkward and not comfortable in her own skin, I suppose. She would make all kinds of faux pas. She wouldn't have a love interest, of course. She wouldn't be able to. And she just, as a character, she would be a laughingstock. She would be a joke that you're supposed to, like, I guess, commiserate with. That's not Lara Croft. This is not the person who should be writing a character like that. So, I mean, I think it would be the best for everyone if they killed it.
I would say that about a lot of stuff. But yes, for this, go in a different direction. Get rid of Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Just before I go on, actually, I know Theory, you're kind of out of time here. You're gonna have to bounce.
Yeah, I gotta go work. Deal with some stuff.
Thank you, man. I hope we've ruined Alien Romulus for you and Prometheus. So
should I still go see it? Is the question?
Sure.
Go see it.
Check it out.
Give us your and go
If you're
see
an
it.
Alien
Give us your
fan,
thoughts.
There's a lot of Alien fans that consider this a banger, third best in the series, sort of thing.
Oh, yeah?
So wouldn't want to miss out if that's how you end up feeling about it. We're more
We'll see.
you know, there are ways that can describe us, but yeah,
I'm a super casual Alien fan. I don't really, you know, I don't even know if I've seen all of them. So we'll see. We'll see what I think.
Yeah, go, man.
Always great chatting with you guys. Thank you so much for having me on.
Take it easy, man.
Chat
See
with you
you
later.
in San Antonio.
See you in San Antonio, dude. Yeah, said it. All right, later.
Nice.
Boy.
Thanks, man.
it is funny when I talk to friends who are like, I think I've seen all the aliens, and I'm like, so Alien? They're like, yeah, aliens, yeah, alien cubes, and they're like, yes, Alien Resurrection, and they're like, I don't know if I saw that one. And then it's like AVP, which depending on who you talk to doesn't count at all, or does. It's up to you. And Requiem. Then it gets real complicated. So like they've usually seen Prometheus and didn't even know Covenant came out, and then Romulus. I guess that's more straightforward because it's new, but still, it's just like what a series of confusing like.
And then there's a TV show coming out.
Yes,
an Alien TV show.
Yes, by Noah Hawley, which I completely forgot about until Chris reminded me.
They honestly should have taken Alien Isolation and turned that into a movie.
That's what everybody's been saying.
They would have done so much better.
There's many instances of video games in these IPs that lay out a whole TV show or a movie right there. It's practically, you couldn't ask for a better blueprint. It's all been made. You can watch it happen. Some of them have fucking cinematics.
Yeah,
you know, like, it's just like just make the fucking movie.
Yeah. But yeah, just to wrap up the Tomb Raider thing that we were talking about there. Yeah, I think they had a much better handle on the Lara Croft character with I think it was Simon West who directed the Tomb Raider movies with Angelina Jolie back in the early 2000s. They got the character. You know, say what you want about the films, maybe they were a little bit goofy and stuff at times with the action, but they understood Lara Croft as a character. She was more of an icon than a person, I suppose. The Alicia Vikander version, they tried to work in the new version of Lara Croft, and she was so wishy-washy and forgettable. It was just like generic action star who happens to be a woman. That was all they got. There was nothing unique or interesting about her, and it was just such a missed opportunity. Like Lara Croft, I think, is such a larger-than-life personality. You need to mirror that in your story, and they absolutely didn't get it. And I would imagine, like, yeah, what nightmares might await in a TV show that's helmed by Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Like that's not a version of Lara Croft that I've got any interest in seeing.
Nope, me neither. Just bring back boobs. That's all I want to say. Steal some stuff. Bring back boobs.
Anger some ancient creatures and animals.
Can
you run around.
I mean, can Sydney Sweeney do a British accent? We just give her like dark hair.
I don't care.
Just dub her.
She can Kevin Costner that shit. I'm fine.
CGI her mouth.
Yeah, because I was streaming myself playing the Tomb Raider remastered series, and people kept asking like, "Well, who would you have play Lara Croft now if you could cast anyone?" And my answer was like, "Oh man, if this was like 5 or 6 years ago, I probably would have picked Hayley Atwell. I think she's got the assets to play Lara Croft. She's British, she's posh, beautiful. You know, she's 42, I think, maybe a little bit old to play Lara, but that probably would have been my choice back in the day. Now we're a bit struggling. It might have to be Sydney Sweeney, I think.
I'm fine with that.
Thing is, if they were doing it now, they would cast Zendaya for it.
They would.
Take that, bigots. Now you have no breasts to ogle whatsoever.
Or philosophy tube.
Yeah. But, well, that's the rumor anyway. It'll be interesting to see what, I guess, comes out of that. It's still up in the air at the moment because it's unconfirmed. But, yeah, it would be kind of funny if they just killed it altogether.
Oh, that's a good shout from Josh in chat. The girl from Shazam 2.
Oh, yeah, I know who you mean. Yeah. Did you watch her in Fall at all?
Yes. I don't think I watched that whole movie, but yes, I'm familiar because I remember finding it a big coincidence that you'd covered it. But yes, she seemed like the kind of actress. So when I saw her in those things, I was like, we'll probably be seeing more of her. She's probably gonna get around, you know.
That's the thing.
She got a couple of things going for her.
She does, but that's the thing. I feel like that look, which like appeals to 50% of the population for sure, it's just not in Hollywood. That's the problem. I feel like someone like Hayley Atwell didn't get the opportunities that she probably deserved, perhaps because she's too conventionally attractive. Same with Sydney Sweeney to some extent. Like there's been this groundswell of appreciation for her after Madam Web, but that probably wouldn't have happened if she hadn't showed up to the premiere dressed as she was. You know, that was just a very organic thing. But she doesn't seem like the kind of actress that Hollywood would try and push in current day. You know, I feel like they'd much more go for that weird androgynous, skinny, nothing sort of look that seems to be at the moment. So,
or Pedro Pascal.
Or Pedro Pascal,
yeah. Just have him play Lara Croft. Why not? But yes, that is the saga of Lara Croft, I suppose, at the moment. But before we finish up tonight, I would love to do a few super chats because we've got a whole bunch of them that have come through this evening. If you guys got a little bit of time, we could try and answer a few.
Sure.
Okay.
Let's go.
The Nets Rack says that Star Wars girl made a great video earlier slamming fake female geek fans. Is that true? Did she do that?
My goodness.
I haven't seen Anna make a video in ages.
Yeah, she's preggers.
Yes, she is.
Man, so like a angry pregnant woman going after fake geek girls. Sign me up.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, Anna knows more about fucking Star Trek than I will ever know.
The original series, yeah.
Her
great knowledge.
Knowledge is encyclopedic. It's insane.
Great knowledge.
Normal Man says, who would have thought that people who don't know the first thing about Star Wars and refuse to learn anything about it would make a bad Star Wars series? It's really weird, isn't it? I know.
Crazy.
They were really set up to fail on this one. Mr. Silver says, The Power of One season. Yeah. Cannon Folderol, a generational landmark, much like the moon landing or 9/11. 20 years on, everyone will remember where they were when the Acolyte was cancelled.
We were watching one of the Steph, My Nerdy Home, put together a compilation from TikTok because I would never watch a second of that crap. And one person described the Acolyte being canceled as the second tower has fallen. I had to go back and rewatch that. And did she really just compare it to 9/11? And she did. She absolutely did. Yes.
It's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for her. Joshua says, "Hey guys, Mauler, will Penguin, Agatha, and Skell C get EFAPs or EFAP TVs? Also, please do an unbridled rage for Deadpool and Wolverine. More people deserve to know that it's shite.
Oh my goodness. Hey, we did streams on it, all right. But Penguin, that's going to be a people like Drinker and Gary are going to have to recommend it before I even watch that. I'm just not that interested.
I
I've
think
got
it's going to be
fuck all interest in watching that.
I watched the panel and I think it's going to be a solid 5 out of 10. Like
It's just like,
technically okay. I think it'll just be okay. Yeah.
Agatha, I think Fringy's already begged me that we don't cover it on EFAP, so I'm not sure what that's happening exactly. I'm probably going to check out the first episode just to see what we're dealing with. Don't know yet. Can't promise on that one. What was the third one?
Hold on a second. I'll bring up. Yeah, it was a weird abbreviation that he did here. So, where are you? Yeah, so Penguin, Agatha, and Skeleton Crew.
Skeleton Crew. Yeah, I'm probably going to check in on that because I'm curious if it's like, I want to see how they contextualize and everything. I want to see if it truly is like a Amblin style thing with like value or if it's just like a gross hollow copy, because I'm curious about the creative team behind it being different from what I gather than the Mando, Boba, Obi-Wan people, and obviously different than the Andor people. So I'm going to be curious. That one's almost like I want to be knowledgeable on what Skeleton Crew is. So it's like 3 different reactions for 3 different shows. Yeah. One is like curiosity and knowledge. The other one is just memes. And then the other one is probably not unless people recommend it.
That's fair enough. Oni says, love the open bar. Question for Mauler. Have you ever been to the US? And would you ever do a con with the guys? That's what we want to know. Do a con with us, Mauler. God damn it.
Yeah.
I've never been to the US, but if I did go, I would make a point of obviously trying to visit every one of my US pals. And yeah, I'd probably do a con. I think we wouldn't be able to resist me coming in with a mask, right? And then...
Yeah, you have to wear a gas mask.
I wouldn't be able to resist, honestly, being like, hi, Gary, can I have your autograph? And then you'll be like, yeah. They'll be like, I'm Muller, by the way. You'll be like, what the fuck?
Break out the deep voice time.
No,
I mean, it would honestly, I live for the day when we could do a con together. I would love to.
I'd come out there. I'd go to your burning country right now.
I will go to Wales land for you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
The land of Wales.
Do they do Comic Cons in Cardiff? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Best flag. You have the best flag.
The best flag.
Well, the Isle of Man has the best one with the feet kicking each other.
Best meme one.
Yeah. Drake Timbershaft says, if Sauron is Walter White, does that mean that Tom Bombadil is Jesse Pinkman?
Yes.
That's fair enough, yeah. Andrew Lee says the power of one season. Yeah. Austin Ewer, did you see the new Lord of the Rings trailer? Yes, we just covered it right there. Oh shit, my gun Luth fell off. Says Nerdrotic, your boy Zach is talking trash about you and Drinker again.
Okay.
I don't know what that guy is so mad about. Like, what did we do to make him angry?
I don't know.
I understand.
No idea. It's the internet. People are going to say stuff. They're free to do it.
Yeah. Patriotic Cat says they can't create, they can only destroy. You get what you deserve. Yeah, indeed. Normal Man.
Deserve.
Yeah. Normal Man says, could studios stop parading around our favorite characters like terrorists do with hostages? I mean, they could, but it makes money, so why would they stop?
Yeah. It's almost like appeasement doesn't work.
Yeah. Ames Games says, Drinker and panel, have a drink for me. I will. Recently found out that I'm pregnant with our second kid. Cheers to 9 months of sobriety. Who's everyone's favorite film and TV? Punisher. Love them all, but Thomas Jane for me. Well, congratulations, first of all. Hope the pregnancy goes well.
What, it's our second kid?
Yeah.
What?
I had nothing to do with this, man.
What?
Not that they can prove, anyway.
Hey, enjoy that 9 months of sobriety and clarity. That's awesome.
Yeah. I wouldn't know. But, yeah, favorite on-screen Punisher. So, yeah, I think Thomas Jane might be the one for me.
Dolph Lundgren and Ray Stevenson.
Yeah. I've heard people say Ray Stevenson one is the best, but
I love the Ray Stevenson one. I love that take. Tom Jane's brilliant too. I really like all the punter in their own way, even Dolph. I love. But yeah, the late great Ray Stevenson.
I was just thinking there. I just rewatched Universal Soldier the other night, and Dolph Lundgren was actually really fucking good in that. Like, I don't think he gets enough credit. Like, he's definitely had his ups and downs in his career, but when he decides to bring it as a villain, he's actually pretty fucking good. He had so much fun with that movie.
I just watched The Expendables again for the first time in forever, and I gotta say, Soul's recently learned English is better than Jet Li's in that. Holy shit. It was so bad. I forgot it. But Dolph's good in that. You know.
Yeah, he is.
He's good in that. Yeah.
Fun movie. He's kind of semi-retired from movies when he did the first Expendables.
Did you?
Yeah, it was Stallone who called him up.
I forget. You guys saw Expend 4 Balls, right?
Yeah, I'm afraid so.
I did not.
Abysmally bad.
Don't watch it,
Shocking.
Gary.
Yeah.
Like, the first 3 are tolerable, but the fourth one, that's god awful.
There's a meme value to the first 3 as well. The fourth one is just sad. Like, they need to stop now.
Yeah. Marksman of 117B says, you should have Tom from Midnight's Edge to discuss the DP3 story with Mahler. He argues that movie is clever, but hyper meta, that reality is part of the story. What's DP3 again? Jurassic Park
Deadpool
3?
Wolverine.
Deadpool 3?
Deadpool 3?
The involvement of the TVA just disqualifies it from having a clever plot. It's but I mean, hey, you know, if there's little bits that maybe you can pick out. I know that the meta discussion is that it represents the sort of mergers and buying outs and nature of universes dying and starting and stuff. I get that, but I don't know that we've ever allowed, you know, like the quality of a plot line to be shit, but it's okay because the subtext or the themes are like matching in some kind of meta way. We usually say like, well, it would be nice if the story and the universe made sense as well.
Okay. G&G Play Highlights says Ryan Long's video "When Wokes and Racists Actually Agree on Everything" is hilarious and sad at the same time because it's so true. I haven't seen that one actually.
That's a good one. That's a classic.
You must have seen that one. Everyone saw that one when it was going around. It's like you know, like black people should have their own spaces, like to celebrate their culture. That it's like, yes, racial segregation.
What was the last line? It's the worst. Sorry, but this is I'm just repeating from a comedy thing. It's the Jews are not white. Yeah. It was so bad.
I'll watch that. I don't know how that passed me by actually.
It's probably the best video for horseshoe theory, like being explained, right?
Yeah.
I
can totally get it.
Classic. Absolutely.
Jacob McQuaid says you guys should have Marty O'Donnell on. Super based and a great talent. Marty O'Donnell.
Yeah, he did the soundtrack for the Halo games, right? And some of the story.
Okay.
The good Halo games. I think he was on Endymion's podcast / stream recently.
Oh, okay. Well, I'd imagine he'd be willing to come on here then. It's like we're kind of roughly comparable, I would say.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
OG Cylon says, where were all these racists for the highly diverse cast of The Expanse? I'm sure there were some, but overall the show was liked because of good writing and acting. Yeah, it's crazy that, isn't it? Super diverse cast, like a lot of...
the racists seem to fuck off for House of Dragon and
One Piece.
Yeah, there wasn't as many articles about how racist everybody was for all those.
The review bombers took that one off, you know?
There's this weird correlation between racist inactivity and like good writing quality. I don't know.
I'm amused by this. Like, you know what? Not feeling as racist today. I like it.
Just my heart's not in it.
Nah.
Yeah. John Posey says, not trying to drop science, but doesn't it seem odd that Lucasfilm chose to cancel the second season that was never promised in the middle of the DNC? I don't know what the connection is there, to be honest. Like, I'm not sure.
They haven't. To be fair, they haven't dropped it yet. They dropped the merchandise, right? Oh, you're talking about the cancellation in general? Because I thought, obviously the conversation now moved to whether or not they're going to drop it at the Acolyte from Disney Plus entirely.
Well, I think it was more them leaking the fact that it was canceled.
I want to thank Disney
deadline
for
Right.
canceling during the DNC, so I had a break on Twitter from all the DNC shit. Okay, so thank you, Disney.
Yeah, but then we got inundated with all these tweets from people who didn't even fucking watch the show, being
I
like,
know.
"Oh, it's such a tragedy that it's ended." It's like, who are you? Like, what?
Yep.
It probably is that Thanos meme. Like, you took everything from me. I don't even know who you are. Istaria Azul says, I hear Echo is going to do Playboy to reinvent herself and reclaim her power, possibly Amandla 2, Discourse.
Oh.
I've got my reservations about that idea. Like, sorry. Yeah, I can't. I think she's just going to kind of disappear after this. Like, we're not getting a second season of Echo, are we?
No.
So, yeah.
No.
They never want to discuss anything to do with Echo ever again, Disney.
I
No,
don't think so, yeah.
Just the end of Hawkeye and Echo did so much damage to the Kingpin. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, he's coming back. Those are all the prices to get into Born Again, right? So we'll finally see, was it worth it? And, well, you know, there's bets you could make, I guess.
I don't think it's going to be worth it. Unless they get the original creative team from Netflix to do it again. Like,
Imagine all the
happen.
shit we've gotten, and because of a deal, because of a bad deal, and a restructuring at Disney, they canceled the Daredevil TV show.
Yeah.
It was canceled.
It's a dumb move.
They had themselves a neat
Unbelievable.
little universe there.
Yes, they
Well,
did.
and they had a team that were all at the time ready to go. But you know, this amount of gap and all the red tape and shit, like the bureaucracy of it all, it's just
Yeah, like imagine launching Disney Plus with Daredevil season 4 with the same team, the same creative team. They were all around there and just moving it over.
Yeah. Would have been easy.
Oh wow.
Mr. Meow Awa says, do you actually get drunk when making videos? What do you mean get drunk? I'm always drunk.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
yeah.
If you're, you don't have to worry about sobering up then. It's great.
that's why he hates sleeping. He wakes up and he's like, no, not again. And gets
Yeah,
the ball.
it's like, oh, damn, I've sobered up while I've been asleep. I need to get on that. Will Dreamer says, my favorite character from the Star Wars expanded universe was Grand Admiral Thrawn. They finally gave me the character in live action. He was an idiot, and the last of my hope for Star Wars died with that man. Why would Cave Plagueis help? That's very true, yeah.
Cave Plagueis.
Cave Plagueis. The Cave Goomer. Schwingy says, rewatched Logan recently. With so many films releasing that turn legacy characters into old, sad losers, have your thoughts on the film changed from when it originally released? Cheers. Mine haven't. No, I still like it.
It is still miserable to an extent. You understand? Like
I like the misery because I'm Scottish.
well, I guess what I'm getting at is just that it's you need to be in a particular mood to sort of engage with what they're going for in that film. But I consider it, it recognizes the strengths of the character that is Logan, right? Like, and it celebrates them in that film.
Yeah.
Though I suppose it was a riskier move, just sort of in general, because it is a bleak film. It begins with all the X-Men are dead. It's like, oh, okay. And it's like Charles Xavier killed several of them, possibly most of them. It's unclear, right? But it's like, oh, that's also fun. And then you get to watch at one point, X-24 kill Professor X. Like
23.
24.
Or 24, sorry. You're right.
And then the whole family, they get like brutally murdered. It's not a fun film. That Caliban has to suicide and all the people who just get killed and sliced up. There's fun action in it. I guess I'm just saying it's like that is a film you have to have a particular understanding of what you're in for and what it means. But I think you can synthesize a lot of really great meaning out of it. And I'm happy it exists. For sure.
Yeah,
I am too. I just always thought of it. It exists outside of. I loved how Days of Future Past ended. I'm like, that was a great way to end it, and they kept going. But they were at least trying. They were trying to do different stuff. Yes, is it patient zero for the sad old man being replaced by the girl's the key to everything? I mean, that stuff's been going on for a long time, but it really went into gear after that. But this is around the era where Deadpool came out. Logan came out. The first couple of seasons of Legion were really good. They were like trying, right on the heels of Days of Future Past. So like Fox was making improvements and then they regressed completely.
Wait, what do you mean? Dark Phoenix was amazing.
Dark Phoenix.
Isn't that nuts?
The
Days
New
of Future
Mutants.
Past is like loved by almost everybody who has an interest in the Fox universe. Days of Future Past it's just high scoring, and there's like,
Apocalypse.
what the fuck happened with Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix? Like, I don't know. They
Yeah.
just didn't learn at all what people were interested in, what people were happy with.
They were so hit and miss, the X-Men movies. Like they really swung for the fences every time, and like when they hit it was amazing.
Yeah.
But like when they missed, like, oh wow, you just had absolute disasters.
Whiff.
Like, and it was
Yeah.
like you never knew what you were going to get.
The
with
hype
those
was
films.
so huge for X-Men 3, thanks to 2, thanks to 1 sort of thing. And then 3, everyone was just like, that was
awful.
yeah.
Yeah. I like First Class too. I think it's a
Yeah, I
good
like
movie.
First Class.
Yep.
kinda
Yeah,
what-
I
Yeah,
Well, Bryan
it-
Singer did happen to the later movies. That's when he started like disappearing for long periods of time, and Simon Kingberg had to come in and direct the movies, which apparently happened a lot.
Guy Thompson says, the power of many and big butts don't lie. Also, it's great to see Mr. H and that Star Wars man on the show, lol. We have diversity in the shape of ass munch.
That's
Star Wars man.
That's Star
Yeah.
Wars, man.
Thank you, Red Letter Media, for coining that phrase. John Everett says, Hail Mauler and Drinker. Shits and giggles make my tummy tingles. Well, I mean, as they do for all of us, really, so thanks.
Excellent. Yeah, good news.
Shindo Versus says, Open bar, sorry. Wow, you got Gary, Theory, and Mr. H, and Mauler, and Acolyte is getting willowed. Theory, can we pitch in to get Plagueis a home? He was in a cave somewhere, and now he's living by train tracks.
Yes.
Free Plagueis.
Get a GoFundMe going.
Just wanna
Every
go
year,
home.
dozens of Plagueises are left without a home. Can you
Aw.
find a home for them? I think we can do it.
So tragic.
Johnny's says, hello there, Star Wars Theory. He says hello back. Casual Romp says, the continued Kira's story in the comics after Solo 2 wouldn't happen. I bet the same thing will happen here with May and Osha. They do have comics and books and shit related to this this show.
They
No one's
announced
going to buy them.
they announced 5 new books at Comic-Con in related connected to the Acolyte.
I'm sure they're going to sell just as well as the High Republic.
Yes,
Absolutely
exactly.
no knocking to the medium, but I almost feel bad for him because there's people who aren't even keeping track of the mainline live action show or movie releases for some of these products. And it's like, they're not going to care about the books, especially not for, it's like, Drinker, do you want to know what happened to Kira? No. Would you want to know about her equivalent in the Marvel series, Gaia? What's the other one? Yeah, do you want to know what happened to Amelia Clark's Sarah Connor? Maybe all of these are answered. She's cursed. I feel bad for that lady. She's just miscast over and over and over again.
Yeah, she needs to be in just a nice, cozy little romantic comedy or something that doesn't require too much physicality from her, because that's not who she is.
And if you have to shove her into a leading action role, maybe tell her to play it a little different. She does them all the same.
Yeah.
And we know she can play them different, but they want her to be Daenerys, which was her curse.
David Johnson says, did your main Instagram account get hacked, Drinker? Glad you like my Dionysus art of you too, man. My Instagram, no, up until recently, I didn't even have an Instagram account. Someone was impersonating me, basically pretending to be some kind of official Critical Drinker Instagram account. And probably making a lot of money off it as well, because they had like 40,000 subscribers or something crazy. So, yeah, I made mention of that on Twitter, and within like a few hours, it vanished. So, yeah, that was just some fake thing. But I did decide to create one for the Critical Doggos. So there is one devoted to Lara and Smokey. You're not going to get bored with me or anything or any of the boring stuff that I do. But the Doggos there just goofing around, living their best lives. You can see them doing that. So the link is in the description right here on this stream, so you can catch the Critical Doggos on Instagram. And look, there's one of them here. Smokey, are you alive? Smokey? Nah, he's dead.
Dead.
Yeah, they shut down at a certain point in the night, and they're just like done. That's them for the day. But I will probably finish up there for this evening, gentlemen. The ones that have stuck through to the end, Gary, Mauler, I knew I could rely on you.
Hell yeah.
Not like those other guys looking after their
Nah.
doggos or going
Yeah,
off to
I'm
do other
completely
things.
ignoring my dogs as they bark outside the door right now. It's dinner time. Motherfucker.
But yeah, thanks for coming on tonight, man. I really appreciate it. And thank you to everyone in chat who's joined us this evening. All the generous people who've sent such amazing super chats. We will answer all of them in due course, as we always do. And to my mods, my team of mods who always do the same excellent job that they do every time. So appreciate you guys. But today, that is all we've got for today. So go away now.
Bye.